Now, before we get started, I want to talk about my intention for today. My intention for today is to shift your perspective. Yesterday, Cole talked about how attitude shapes life, correct? Like it's our attitude towards a situation that will determine how we behave towards a situation, and how we behave is going to influence the outcome, correct? And so today, my goal isn't to change your life, because truthfully, I can't change your life in the next fucking hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, but I can change your perspective. And if I change your perspective, you can change your life. Make sense? So my intention is to change your perspective today. So we're going to talk about relationships. Now, first things first is, what is business? Because today I'm going to talk to you guys about how to get content that converts clients. But before we can get content that converts clients, we have to understand what business is. Business is value exchange. Write that down. Business is value exchange. Customers give you money, which is value. You give them a solution. Business, at its core, is an exchange of value. I give you something, you give me something. You guys pay us for the event ticket, and we give you 2 days of mind-blowing value. That's fucking awesome, and it's the best event you've ever been to. I can plug that in there. Just saying. Business, at its core, is value exchange. Okay, so value exchange happens between two people, right? Because in order for people to exchange value, in order to exchange value something, there needs to be two people involved, correct? Like you can't just exchange, like if we just had this event and nobody was fucking here, it doesn't matter, right? We need people in order to exchange value. Does that make sense? What's that? We get value because we just talk to each other. It'd be fucking dope. But even so, me and Cole would be exchanging value with each other. Does this make sense? This is very fucking important. So value exchange happens between two people. So business is two people exchanging value. Business is two people exchanging value. Now, when two people connect, what do we call it? It's a relationship, right? When we connect, me and him have a relationship, right? And so, what is a relationship? A relationship is based off of an exchange of value. At its core, business is relationships. And what is a relationship? A relationship is based off of an exchange of value. And the reason this is super fucking important is because we're going to be talking about how to create valuable content today. But unless you guys understand what value is, you won't be able to create content. Unless you guys understand this, then you're going to be chasing the wrong metrics. So at its core, business is relationships, and relationships are exchanges of value. If everybody's with me so far, say with you. Perfect. So if you want to understand business, you need to understand relationships. All relationships are based off of an exchange of value. And everything is relationships. So I can either have a positive relationship with something or somebody based off of a positive value exchange, like me and Cole. Me and Cole have a very positive relationship because we positively exchange value all the time. Our presence, our energy, our passion, our ambition, being around each other makes each other better. Does that make sense? And I'm sure you guys just think in your heads, who is somebody that you have in your life that you have a positive value exchange with each other? Think about that person, right? Now, I want you not to just think about relationships in terms of people. I want you to think about relationships in terms of things that you do. Who here has a positive relationship with the gym? You go to the gym, and the gym gives you value, right? You give value to the gym gives value to you. You go there, you give it your energy, your passion, your effort, and in return, it gives you confidence, energy, enthusiasm, etc. In that same token, let's talk about negative relationships. You can have a negative relationship with somebody or something based off of a negative value exchange. Like if I went into Mariah Fontana's purse and stole all of her money. That's not good, right? That's a negative value exchange. I'd be taking value from Mariah, which would negatively impact our relationship. You can have a negative relationship with another person, and I'm sure I want you guys to think right now of a person you have a negative relationship with, right? You can also have a negative relationship with a thing. Like I want you guys to think about a vice that you guys might have or have had that you thought in the moment it was giving you value, but it was actually taking value away from you, and it was a negative relationship. You guys all know what I'm talking about? I'm sure all of us can think about something we've had a negative relationship with. So I'm going to give you guys an example. And we're going to use gardening as an example because it's really easy to understand. Let's say you live in this house, and outside in your front yard you have a garden, okay? If I go out front to that garden and I set it on fire, that's a fucking funny time for that timer to go off. If I go out to that garden and I set that garden on fire, Am I giving value or am I taking value from the garden? I'm taking value from the garden. It's very easy to understand that, right? You're taking value from the garden by setting it on fire. I go to the garden, I set it on fire, I take value. That's a negative relationship, right? Now, let's do another example. Let's say this is where this is important, and this is gonna hit a lot, okay? Let's say I live in this house, and I have a garden out front, and I do absolutely nothing. I just sit in the fucking house, and I watch the fucking garden. I don't water it, don't give it sunlight, don't give a fuck, watch it grow weeds. I do absolutely nothing. In that example, am I giving value or taking value from the garden? Why?
Because you're not watering it and giving it what it needs.
In all relationships, if it's not positive, it becomes negative. I want you guys to think about your business for a second. How many of you guys have ever taken your clients for granted? Maybe you didn't pay them the attention that they deserved. You didn't get back to the check-ins on time. You forgot to do their meal plans. You weren't as attentive to the Facebook group as you should have been. Neutral, but neutral isn't neutral. Neutral becomes negative. This is fucking important. How many of you guys have been in a relationship with your significant other? Josh, the other day you talked about how you need to take Alicia on more dates. If it's neutral, it becomes negative because over time, you're actually taking value from her because you're not giving her value. Does this make sense? It's the same thing with your social media. You're like, oh, I haven't posted on social media in the last fucking 2 weeks. That's neutral, which actually means it's negative because you're taking value away from your audience. You could be impacting, serving, delivering, changing people's lives, but there's somebody on your social media that isn't getting impacted because you're just like, oh, I'm just chilling. Neutral equals taking value. If it's not positive, it becomes negative, which means you're taking value away from the garden by not giving it value. Let's say you're the motherfucker that looks like this, and you go outside every day, and you're watering your garden. Every day, you're watering it, you're giving it sunlight, making sure it grows. You're doing your very best, you're just watering the garden. You're not out there yelling at it, why aren't you growing fast enough? A lot of you guys do that with your social media. You just water in the garden, right? You're just watering the garden. If you're watering the garden, are you giving value or taking value from the garden? You're giving value to the garden. You're giving value to the garden by watering it, which means the garden gives value to you by growing. Very fucking easy to understand this concept, right? This is the fundamental law that I live my life by. This is like, all relationships are based off of an exchange of value, and you're either taking value or you're giving value at all times, period. When you walk into a room, your presence either gives value or it takes value away. And you might not think that, right? Because you're just going there, you just mind your own business, whatever. But when people look at you, you're either giving them value or you're taking value away from them. How are you showing up? How are you showing up? You're neutral on social media, you don't really give a fuck. You're either giving value or taking value away from people. Now I'm gonna give you some fundamental laws to live your life by to help you guys understand why this principle is so important. But first, business is relationships. Business is relationships. All relationships are based off of exchanges of value. So your goal as a person, as an individual, as a creator, as a husband, as a wife, your goal is to always give value. Because if you're, write this down, if I'm not giving value, I'm taking value. If I'm not giving value, I'm taking value. If I'm not giving value, I'm taking value. I want to talk about my podcast because the podcast is what took us from, we had like 50 to 100 clients to over 1,000 clients. It was the podcast. And I'm gonna talk to you guys about why I started that podcast, because I recognized that the podcast was one way that I could give a massive amount of value to the audience, a massive amount of value to the market, a massive solution to all these online trainers' problems. And I knew that the more value that I gave, the more value would come back to me. Write this down, it's called the law of reciprocity. A lot of you guys are thinking about why your business isn't growing. You're like, why am I not making more money? Why am I not fucking growing at the rate that I want to? You're asking yourself the wrong question. The right question to be asking is, how can I give more value? Now, I knew with the podcast, I just outperformed everybody. I figured out what people were doing in the market. I was like, there was a couple people that have podcasts. And I figured out, okay, they were doing podcasts 1 or 2 times a week. So I'm like, if I can 5X that output for the next 2 years, I'll become the best in the space. And I need you guys to understand that like that action by itself, like I could tell you, Juan, go post on social media 5 times a week, but it means absolutely fucking nothing unless you understand why I'm doing it. The reason why I did it is I wasn't doing it so that everybody could pay me, because if I'm doing something with an expectation of something in return, is that actually giving value? Like if I do a favor for Pat and then after I do that favor for Pat, I'm like, hey, remember that fucking thing I did for you? Is that actually giving value? Which is what a lot of you guys do with your social media. You post on social media and you're like, where's my fucking clients? Why aren't people reaching out to me? I don't fucking understand. You're approaching social media with the wrong intention, which is why your business isn't growing, which is why your social media isn't growing. Because everything that you do, every piece of value that you create has a string attached. What's in it for me? Instead of what's in it for me, you should be asking, write this down, what's in it for them? And so the Change Lives Make Money Online Trainer podcast, the reason that I went live 5 times a week, the reason that I became the #1 value creator in the space is I knew that if I wanted to grow the biggest business in the space, then I needed to be the most valuable person in the space. Does that make sense? So if you want to grow the biggest business, then you need to be the person that provides the most value. And that was the podcast. By the way, who here listens to the podcast? Exactly. The purpose behind the podcast is to become the most valuable resource on the internet for my niche. Write that down. Become the most valuable resource on the internet for your niche. If I can become the most valuable resource on the internet for my niche, why the fuck can't you? Why the fuck can't you? Right? Why can't you be the next guy? Why can't you be the next guy? Why can't you be standing next to Conor McGregor in the fucking UFC ring? Right? Why can't you? We got Phil Heath at my fucking house sleeping in my goddamn basement. Why can't you do that? You get what I'm saying? I just made the decision. I was like, I'm gonna be, write this down, I'm gonna be the most valuable motherfucker for my niche on the internet. Period. I just made the decision. I talked to Joseph about this the other day. That's what I'm saying. There's levels to this shit. I'm like, I made the decision. Before I even started, you guys go back to episode #1 of the podcast. What's going on, guys? It's the #1 podcast on the internet for online fitness coaches from day fucking 1. And the reason is because I wanted to be the most valuable resource on the internet for my niche. Why is this important to you? Why am I talking about myself? Because you're not a content creator, you're a value generator. You're not a content creator, you're a value generator. You're not a content creator, you're a value generator. Once you understand that, creating content becomes easy. I'm not creating content, I'm creating value. I'm creating value. Write this down, the more value that I give, the more the universe gives back to me. It's called the law of reciprocity. And the universe works in like fundamental laws, man. It's like the more value that you give, the more value that you get, period. Which is why it's like I very rarely ever slip into scarcity, ever. I would say maybe out of 100 days, there's like 1. Because I know, who here has gotten fucking value from this weekend? Raise your hand. Look around. Except for fucking Alex, because you went to the hospital. That's fine. I forgive you. Because I know that I'm giving so much fucking value that I know the universe has my back. Yep. I know it's coming back. So it doesn't matter. I have a slow week, I'm like, whatever. Like, obviously I want to grow, but I'm not like, oh my God, my business is on fire. How many of you guys have ever felt like that? Right? It's like, but if you know, you're like, I'm giving so much fucking value. There's not a person on the planet that's giving more value to me than me for my niche. When you actually feel that, you're not worried. Because the more that you give, the more that you get. You're not a content creator, you're a value generator. So you want customers to give you their money, which you perceive as value. Who here likes money? Raise your hand. If you don't have your hand raised, you're a fucking liar, okay? We all perceive money as valuable. You want customers to give you their money, which you perceive as value, but why should they give you their money when they're getting value from another online fitness coach that they're following? They're getting their value from somebody else. Why would they give you their money? They're following Kirsten, right? They're following Dawn. Why should they give you their fucking money? They're getting value from somebody else. Why should they give you their money? You got all these financial goals, Paris, but why should people pay you when they're getting their value from another online fitness coach? Right? That should piss you off. it bothers the shit out of me when somebody hires a different business coach than me and Cole. It literally bothers me. I'm like, you're an idiot. But then I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot because I'm not going hard enough. If I was going hard enough, they wouldn't be signing up with other people. It's my fucking fault. It should piss you off when people sign up with other coaches. What do you mean you sign up with another coach? Are you fucking baked? That's the mindset. That's the mindset, literally. That's the fucking mindset. You need to become so valuable that you literally think you're like other people are crazy to go to another coach. You're asking the wrong questions and you're approaching business the wrong way if you're setting financial targets without understanding why you get paid. You need to understand why you're getting paid. If you want people to pay you their money, then you need to give them fucking value. Which is why we talk about impact over income, right? Who here's heard us say that before? This is why. Because you don't get the income unless you give them the value first. Dude, and some people that sign up for the program, they follow me for a year before they sign up. And so here I am thinking, I'm like, oh my God, my business isn't growing, blah, blah, blah. But meanwhile, I'm just fucking water in the garden every day. Water in the garden, water in the garden. Every day posting on social media, water in the garden. And then finally one day, fucking bam, Juan pops out of the woodworks. He's like, I've been following you for 8 months. I'm ready to sign up. But
3 days, actually.
oh, that's good, okay. More clients like you, bro, okay? I need more fucking clients like you, okay? I'm telling you, okay? I'm telling you. You will not make money unless you become the most valuable motherfucker on the internet for your niche. That is the mindset. You can't just set a financial target, like $1 billion. Okay, cool. How are you going to create $1 billion worth of revenue? Or $1 billion worth of value in the market? Write this down. You get paid in exact proportion to the value that you deliver to the marketplace. Not a cent more and not a cent less. You get paid in exact proportion to the value that you deliver to the marketplace. Not a cent more and not a cent less. Period. It's the end of the weekend. I'm leaving. You get paid in exact proportion to the value that you deliver to the marketplace, not a cent more and not a cent less. So look at your bank account. Your bank account is a direct reflection of how much value you've given to your audience, to your current clients, and to your past clients. Period. Your bank account is a direct reflection to how much value you've given to your audience, your current clients, and your past clients, period. Not a cent more, not a cent less. So you can get upset about the fact that you're not making money, or you can ask yourself, how the fuck do I start creating more value? So if you want to make more money, the answer is not to focus on the money itself. Because don't get me wrong, Monty, having a financial goal of hitting $200,000 is fucking important. I think having a target that you can aim for, Brock, is important. But you're just saying like 4K, which I told you to hit, by the way, so I'm not giving you shit. But saying 4K without understanding why you're setting the 4K goal or how to get to the 4K goal. 4K is the target, and the way that we get there is by giving the value. Does that make sense? Perfect. Money is simply the value that will be exchanged with you based on the value that you create in the market. Does that make sense? So you will get paid more money when you give more value. Your customers, your audience will be like, I fucking like your content. I would like to give you money, which you perceive as valuable because you have given me so much value with your content, with your live streams, with that masterclass I just attended, with that 4-day challenge I just did, with that 14-day challenge I just did. I just got so much value from this stuff that I'm gonna give you my fucking money, which I perceive as valuable. Make sense? It's an exchange. The question isn't, write this down, how do I make more money? The question is, how do I create more value? How do I create more value? Because when you create more value, what's gonna happen? Ding! Exactly. This is the thing though, like if you're giving value, write this down. Giving value with an expectation of a return is not value. Giving value with an expectation of a return is not value. So if you're doing a lot, if you do it like, guys, that's an example, like 40, who here has ever done a 14-day challenge and fucking flopped? Right? Me too. Right? But if I just do it and it flopped and I'm like, oh, I'm such a fucking piece of shit, this didn't fucking work, wasted my fucking time, these motherfuckers did all my free shit and they fucking didn't pay me. Is that a mindset that's conducive to success? Yes or no? It's funny, but we do it all the time. Right? I see it all the fucking time. It happens to all of us. I get it. But like if you're creating value with the expectation of something in return, that's why you're not getting paid. When you can shift your perception and you can just be like, dude, I'm so fucking happy I just warmed up 40 prospects. Fuck yes. When they're ready, they're gonna come to me. Because then the whole time you're just gonna be so excited to serve them instead of serving them with your fucking handout. Like, hey, right? I just gave you a free workout. Hello? You wanna sign up for my shit? You're just gonna be stoked to serve. What is value? So if the goal is to create more value, then what is value? Well, value is based on perception, and there's two different perceptions of value, okay? There's self-perception, as in, do I perceive myself as a valuable person? And there's the perception of others, as in, do others perceive what I bring to the table as valuable? Value is based on perception, self-perception of value. You will never, write this down, you will never run away from the man or the woman that you see in the mirror. You will never run away from the man or the woman that you see in the mirror. No amount of money that you ever make is ever gonna disguise the way that you feel about yourself. And the way that you feel about yourself, the perception of value that you have about yourself is based on what? It's based off of the relationship that you have with yourself. And what is a relationship? Somebody, raise your hand. What's a relationship? Nope. What's a relationship? Ding! A relationship is based off of an exchange of value. That wasn't a trick question. I wanted to see if you're paying attention. So, a relationship is based off of an exchange of value. So, you can have a positive value exchange with yourself, where you're doing things that are giving you value, and you can have a negative relationship with yourself, where you're doing things that are taking value away from you. Why do you crack cocaine? Is that positive relationship or negative relationship? Negative, right? It's funny, but it's true. I'm being dramatic to illustrate a point, right? Maybe positive in the moment, but super negative for my relationship in my life, okay? Right? Okay? This is funny. Taking value for myself, chewing tobacco. Recently, I was in the Dominican Republic, and if you guys follow my Instagram, you knew that I was sick for 14 out of 21 days. It was fucking horrible. I was shitting every day, every hour. I wanted to die, okay? Wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, not even Matt for filming at Iron Nation, okay? But, I remember going to the washroom and looking at myself in the mirror and be like, okay, where are you taking value from your health? That's what I asked myself. I was like, where are you taking value from yourself? Like, yeah, you're sick. You can see it's not in your control. You got a Dominican bug, but I'm responsible for my fucking health. So I looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, where are you taking value from your health? You chewing tobacco, you fucking dumbass. I was like, okay. I'm no longer willing to tolerate the relationship that I have with myself. I'm no longer willing to tolerate the way that I feel about myself. I fucking hated being sick. So I'm like, I realize that I'm taking value from myself by chewing tobacco, and so I am no longer willing to do that. Write this down. I'm no longer willing to participate in activities that take value from me. I am no longer willing to participate in activities that take value from me. And value's funny because value's based on perception, right? There was a period in time where I convinced myself, my perception, I convinced myself that chewing tobacco was giving me value. So value is based on perception. But guys, we can't run away from the man or woman that we see in the mirror. So we can lie to ourselves all day long, but at the end of the day, you know how you feel, right? You know how you feel, and the way that you feel is based off of the relationship that you have with yourself. And the relationship that you have with yourself is based off of whether you're giving value to yourself or you're taking value away from yourself. Does that make sense? So my question for you, I want a quick prompt. I want you to write down one thing. Where are you taking value from yourself? Write it down. By the way, neutral is taking value. So if there's something that you haven't taken action on that you fucking know that you should be taking action on, neutral is taking value. Now, giving value to myself is creating a clear vision of the life that I want to create and reminding myself of that vision every fucking day. That's giving value to myself, right? Going to the gym and choosing physical exercise is giving value to myself. And so, if we think that all relationships are based off of exchange of value, and so the relationship that I have with myself, based off of the relationship I have with myself, I'm either gonna show up as a person of value that gives positive value to the fucking world, or I'm gonna show up as a person that doesn't have value, that doesn't perceive my own value because of all the negative value exchanges I've had with myself. I drink, I smoke weed, I sleep in, I'm fucking lazy. If you feel like that, how do you think you're gonna show up on social media and deliver value to other people? How are you trying to lead other people somewhere where you're not able to lead yourself? Which is why I made a joke, but not I made a joke. It's why I posted about how your fitness coach shouldn't be fat. The reason I say that is because you can't lead somebody when you're not a person of value. When you don't perceive yourself as valuable, how are you supposed to take other people to a place where they perceive themselves as valuable? And that's what coaching is, right? Coaching is trying to help you see your own value so that you step up in the world. Maybe you become a better husband, a better father, better in your fitness journey, you lose weight, whatever. I'm helping you become more valuable. But if you don't perceive yourself as valuable, how are you trying to take somebody where you haven't been yourself? Is this making sense? We must become a person of value by choosing to only give value to ourselves. And this is a process, y'all. This takes time, right? This takes time, but the journey starts today. It takes time because, like, as an example, when I was a drug addict, I had taken so much fucking value for myself that I was literally at rock bottom. And so for me, I just had to eliminate drugs. That was step number one. Now, obviously, there was a lot of other negative habits that I had that were a result of the drugs. Like, I slept in, I was fucking fat, I was out of shape, I was whatever. But like, I had to start by eliminating, write this down, eliminating the thing that was taking the most value away from me. I eliminated that. And once I eliminated that, then I was able to start working myself and becoming a better person. We must become a person of value by choosing to only give value to ourselves. This is the thing, right? I think that so many people try to change their life by adding things, and I think the real solution is by taking things away. I'll give you an example. Your clients, right? Phallus clients. They join your program, like, I want to lose weight. And you're like, cool. And then they're like, I'm going to the gym. And you're like, awesome. They're like, and I eat burgers and fucking Cheetos, and I stop at the fast food store every day, and I have Coca-Cola. The solution isn't to do more cardio, dumbass. It's stop eating the fast food. And it's often the same thing in our life. Like, your next level is waiting for you when you start subtracting the things that you're doing that are holding you back. Oftentimes, the way that we do this is by identifying where we're taking value from ourselves and eliminating those toxic habits and character traits. Does that make sense? Right? Because sometimes we can trick ourselves and be like, this is giving me value. Is it really? Is it really giving you value, or are you just saying that to yourself? And by the way that you identify whether or not something is giving you value or taking value away from you, write this down, is looking at yourself in the fucking mirror. Other people's perception of value also matters, because value is based on perception, correct? The perception that we have of ourselves and other people's perception. Is this valuable so far? Is this making sense? Cole, you want to open the door? I think Paris is fucking dying. The sun. Yeah. Maybe just like get a little bit of a breeze. All the girls are cold, all the guys are hot, usually how it works. Perfect, got it. This is a funny example. See, if we open the door, other people's perception of value. Listen, if we open the door, the women in the room will perceive that as taking value. What if we open the door, the men in the room will perceive that as giving value. Other people's perception of value matters. Does that make sense? Other people's perception of value matters. So let's say I had a winter coat. Could I sell it to somebody in the Dominican Republic that lived in plus 30 weather and be like, dude, you want to fucking buy this coat? You want to buy this fucking coat? $10,000. You want to buy the coat? But it wouldn't be valuable to them, right? But that same winter coat, if you were fucking freezing, it was minus 40, you had 10 grand and you were fucking dying, and I walked up to you and I was like, I got a winter coat, 10K. You fucking take it in a second. Perception of value matters. Does that make sense? So sometimes we perceive something as valuable, but just because we perceive it as valuable doesn't meet our audience well. Which is why we're talking about content. Because you think your content's fucking awesome, right? We all think our content's awesome, let's be honest. But your audience might not perceive it as valuable, otherwise they'd be paying you fucking money. You guys get what I'm saying? Perception of value matters. Basically, in order to understand what value is, we need to be aware of the perception of our own value, which is based off of how we feel about ourselves, and how we feel about ourselves is predicated on whether or not we've been giving value to ourselves or taking value from ourselves. Who here feels really fucking good right now with their life because they've been giving value to themselves for the last 1, 2, 3, 4 years? Raise your hand. Look around. And that's okay if you don't have your hand up, because this is the start of something beautiful. This is the start of something beautiful. And so if you want to make more money, then you need to become a person of value. Write that down. This is why Cole blew up in social media. Straight up. Cole's just a valuable motherfucker. And everything he says is valuable. It might be intense. It might call you a little bitch sometimes. But it's valuable, right? He is a person of fucking value. And I'll be honest, I learned a lot from Cole. Cole's the reason I quit chewing tobacco. Because I'm really good at giving value, which is what we're talking about on the second line. Cole's just a person of value. Does that make sense? So like, I'm learning a lot from Cole. And other people's perception of value also matters, which is why it's so fucking important to have a niche on social media. Because when you target busy moms who struggle with weight loss and all of your content is directed straight at their problems, you become extremely valuable to that target demographic. So in order to understand value, because people always say, give value. Give value. You heard that a fucking 1,000 times. Give value. What the fuck is value? Number one, value is you. How you show up. Who you are as a person. That's value. And other people's perception of value also matters, which is what we're going to talk about today in terms of like giving value to your actual target demographic. And you might think you're giving value, but when I'm talking about giving value to other people, my definition of other people's perception of value is, let's say your target demographic is busy moms who struggle with weight loss. Your content should be so good that they don't have to pay you to get results. That's value to others. So when people come to your page, one, and they're like, holy fuck, this is good. My mindset shifted just from watching your content. That's where you're gonna get clients. The law of win-win. Write that down. Write this down. The law of win-win. Write this down. All transactions must benefit all parties involved. All transactions must benefit all parties involved. Any transaction willingly participated in on my end that I know does not benefit the other party will eventually come back to me and take value away from me in the same way that I've chosen to take value from this party. I must only engage in win-win scenarios. Sometimes we do shit that we accidentally hurt somebody else. That fucking happens. But when you participate in an activity that you know is not going to benefit the other party but benefits you, you're fucking yourself. Because eventually that scenario will come back and take value from you. All transactions must benefit all parties involved. Period. I will never do business when I know it will not benefit the other party. Period. The universe works under unbreakable, unbendable laws, and those laws state, write this down, you get exactly what you give. In another term, we talked about this like just recently, you get paid an exact proportion to the value that you deliver to the marketplace. You get exactly what you give. If all relationships are based off of an exchange of value, then I want to make sure that I'm only partaking in relationships where both parties are going to win. Let's say you take on a client that you know for a fact you can help and they pay you $5,000. They get the results they want, they absolutely love the shit out of you, and they're happier than they've ever been in their life, and you get paid. Is that a win-win relationship with both parties involved? Those are the only relationships that we ever partake in, is when both parties benefit. You wanna know why your social media isn't growing? You're not creating win-win relationships with your audience. Period. They don't get enough value from you, which is why they're not following you. Period. You could be upset about that, or you could understand that the universe will reward you when you start creating win-win relationships when those people that follow you get a shitload of value. The reason your social media isn't growing is because you are trying to take. Follow me. You're not giving. If your social media was actually that valuable and other people perceived it as valuable, you would get the followers. Am I right? It's that simple. You want to know why your business isn't growing? Because your clients aren't getting phenomenal results when they fucking paid you. And because they're giving you the value in the form of their money, and you're not delivering the result that they paid for, they're not referring their friends, and they're not sticking around to upgrade their programs. Because if they were truly getting the results that they paid for, then they would refer their friends, they'd upgrade their programs, they'd tell everyone about you, they'd be like, this is fucking awesome. Like you guys do for PT Dom, wink. Instead of complaining that you're not growing, figure out, this is important, figure out where you can give more value to your current customers and your business will start to grow. Cass, the other day we talked about upgrades, right? If we want to upgrade clients to premium programs, then we need to ask ourselves, how can we give these people more value? Write this down. All transactions must benefit all parties involved. You want to grow on social media, you need to give more fucking value, period. What's value? Value is based on perception. Perception of self and other people's perception of you. So you need to become a person of value so that you can give more. So you need to figure out what vices you have that are holding you back, that are keeping you at a low level. And you need to figure out what other people perceive as valuable so you can start delivering it more on your social media. Because when you do that, people will follow you. Part number 4, always give more value than you ask for. Always give more value than you ask for. Who here thinks this event is underpriced? Raise your hand. We like that. We like that way. I liked it. I fucking love that. I don't like it. I love it. I love that we pay for accommodations, food. We got the fucking best chef in the fucking house. You guys got unlimited content. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It makes me happy because I always give more value than I ask for. That's the goal. There's other people that charge $15,000 for events like this that don't include food, that don't include accommodations, that don't have this level of coaching, that don't have unlimited video content, that don't have a chef. I'm like, how can we make this the fucking best? Who here follows me on Instagram? Better fucking all have your hands up. Good. My goal with my content is to create so much fucking value that people could literally grow their business whether or not they hired me. I had a guy that sent me a video, like it was like 2 weeks ago, and my VAs were doing their thing, and they're like, thanks so much for following me. And he sent me a video. He's like, dude, he's like, I've been following you for fucking 6 months. He's like, I've never reached out. He's like, I didn't want to follow you because, you know, whatever. Anyways, I just followed you because I've been following everything that you've been saying for the last 6 months, and my business went from 20K a month to 70K a month. And I just wanted to send you a video to say fucking thank you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. That's the fucking shit I'm talking about, okay? That's the goal of value. That's the goal of value. The law I live my life by, I talked about this at dinner with you, Paris, yesterday. I always give more value than I ask for. That's a law I live my life by. When someone pays me, I make sure they get 2, 3, 4, 10x what they paid for in value. And because this is my approach to business, the universe rewards me with 50 to 100% growth per year in my business. The universe knows, like, if I send this motherfucker clients, he's gonna take care of them, right? The law I live my life by, I always give more value than I ask for. Is your product/program giving more value than you're asking for? And the way that you guys will know this, write this down, is do I have raving fans? If you have raving fans in your program is giving you more value than you're asking for, giving more value than you're asking for. If you don't have raving fans or raving customers or people that are like, holy fuck, you changed my life, you need to work on that. When you start getting those messages, like, dude, this is fucking lit. Mariah, you changed my fucking life. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. That's when you know your program is giving more value than you're asking for. Make sense? If your program is giving more value than you're asking for, renewals are fucking easy. Sales are easy. It's not even a sale. It's like, how long are we continuing for? You want to do 6 months or 12 months? But if your program isn't giving more value than you're asking for, sales are like, would you like to continue? Let's jump on a call. Are you sure you want to cancel? Are you 100% certain you want to cancel? Is there anything I can do to earn your business? You already fucking lost their trust. What do you mean anything I can do to earn your business? Give so much fucking value to your clients that they're like, holy shit, I can't believe I only pay you $300. Like Cassie the other day was like, you guys need to raise the price in the events. We're like, yeah, that's good. That's a good thing. When you're getting that means you're doing a good job. Part 5. The person who gives the most value wins. Period. That is the fucking truth. The person who gives the most value wins. This is also why Janelle's our head $1 million mastermind coach and the head coach of our program. Because she wanted to work for me and Cole for a long time, and me and Cole were like, we don't fucking need anybody. Like, whatever, leave us alone. But then, combos with B, she just started showing up all the fucking time on every fucking call that I was doing. And eventually, she showed up so consistently that it was combos with B and Janelle for like fucking 1.5 years. Like, I didn't ask for this, but you're always here, so I may as well put you in the fucking schedule. And then eventually, she just kept showing up and kept putting in the work, and she was like, let me take some shit off your schedule for you. Let me help. Like, I didn't even know you signed up for the mastermind. I'm the head coach of the program. What the fuck? She just took care of it. Because she just shows up. She gives so much fucking value that eventually are just like, she just earned her spot. The person who gives the most value wins. She just became a part of mine and close circle because she gave us the most fucking value. Who here knows who Gary Vaynerchuk is? Alex Hormozi? Andy Frisella? Mr. fucking Beast? How much fucking value do these guys give? The person who gives the most value wins. Also, funny story, besides Mr. Beast, he's young. All these motherfuckers are old, dude. Straight up. So like, if you're young and you start now, not even if you're young, dude, fucking what's KFC, what's his fucking name? Colonel Sanders started when he was like 70, okay? If you just start now to become a person of value, do you realize how fucking sick your life could be in the next 5 years? If you just decide now, like, I'm gonna be the most valuable motherfucker. I'm not just gonna take this event and be like, oh, I'm gonna go home and do nothing, which by the way, I won't let you do. I have a challenge for you later. But like, I'm talking about becoming a person of actual value. Do you realize how crazy your life could be in the next 5 years? Samantha Mills, when you first started with us, how much money were you making?
$2,000 a month.
How long ago was that?
3 years ago.
How much are you making now?
55.
How many people in this room would like to make $55,000 every single month? Raise your fucking hand. Do you realize that you're not that far off, right? And Mariah Fontana's goal of hitting $10 million, like, do you think Cole and I are ever gonna slow down? No. Mariah's following us. Do you think she's gonna fucking hit 10 million? 100%. It's only a matter of time, right? The person who gives the most value wins, dude, period. They win the most in business. You need to become the go-to motherfucker in your industry if you wanna win in business. You need to become the go-to motherfucker in your industry if you want to win in business. And I'm not talking about winning small, I'm talking about winning big. I want all of it. I want it all. I want the mansion, the house, the cars, the jet, the impact, the legacy, the social media followers. I want it all. And so because I want it all, I'm willing to become the most valuable person in my industry for my niche, period, end of story. Nobody comes close. Everybody else is competing for second. That is the mindset. If you have a multi-million-dollar dream or a billion-dollar dream, then you better have a massive fucking plan for what platforms, how often, how consistently, how passionately you're gonna deliver value to your target audience for an extended period of however the fuck long it takes if you truly wanna be successful. Do you get that? The reason Cole and I aren't worried about money ever is because we're playing the infinite game. Infinite. We're playing the brand game, the forever game. When you play the forever game, you're not worried about money anymore because you know it's coming. 5 years ago, we were making between 30 and 50K a month. We absolutely hated our fucking business, by the way, because we had a bunch of people that were taking advantage of us, which is why we started our own shit. Well, I lived in a 600 square foot apartment. You lived in a 600 square foot apartment. We lived down the street from each other. Our businesses were making 30 to 50K a month, but we didn't know how to manage our money, so we were fucking idiots with it, and we were just going out and partying and drinking and just being dumbasses, and that was 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Yeah, that's 5 years ago. We were making 30 to 50K a month being fucking idiots. No idea how to run our business. We're still idiots. We just know how to run our business a little bit better. And Julia manages our bank account, so we can't be financially irresponsible. That is correct. If it wasn't for Julia, we'd probably still be there. So, what is business? Business is an exchange of value between two people. What do we call an exchange of value between two people? Alex, a relationship. At its core, business is relationships. And all relationships are based off of an exchange of value. By the way, I want to fucking shout somebody out. Watch my YouTube right now. His name's Cam Adair. He was my first ever mentor. I can't take full credit for this theory. Cam and I and our other business partners came up with this when I was like 20, 21. So Cam, I know you're watching this. I love you. Here are 5 laws to consider if you want to grow in the amount of people you impact and the amount of money you make. Number 1, take a picture of this. All relationships are based off of exchanges of value. Number 2, value is based on perception. Your perception of your own value and other people's perception of your value. Number 3, all transactions must benefit all parties involved. Any transaction willingly participated in that does not benefit all parties involved is a transaction that will eventually come back and bite you in the ass. And number 5, the person who gives the most value wins. Bet.